Alright, so I've got some exciting news for some upcoming collaborations this week. So if you weren't aware, I'm a huge wrestling fan. In fact, I grew up watching wrestling. I went to tons and tons of wrestling events. For example, WrestleMania 8, SummerSlam 93, King of the Ring 93. Back when I was young, I paid for every pay-per-view. Not me, my parents, of course, but we watched every pay-per-view. We went to as many house shows as we could. I was a huge WWF fan. In fact, for SummerSlam 93, we stayed at the same hotel as many of the wrestlers. I met so many people: Owen Hart, Bret Hart, the Bushwhackers, Lex Luger, among others. It was crazy. And even through junior high and high school, I continued to watch wrestling. But then it went to WWE, and that's when I really stopped watching it. I've tuned in every now and again, and I know who most of the wrestlers are, but I'm not a big of fan as I was back then. And I tell you all this because we do have some WWE collabs in Fortnite already. Obviously, some of the female stars and John Cena. But now we're getting 2 more. So this Friday, April 18th, we are getting 2 brand new WWE superstars. And I'll be getting these tomorrow morning. So I'm going to do a review super early tomorrow. Stay tuned for that. But the 2 wrestlers are none other than the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, as well as the Undertaker. So I obviously know who Cody Rhodes is, but it was his dad that I was a big fan of, Dusty Rhodes and Goldust. Dusty Rhodes always cracked me up. Anytime I saw one of his interviews, they kind of made him a big joke in the WWF, but Goldust was scary to me. When I was growing up, I actually hated Goldust. He was really, really scary. But Cody Rhodes is awesome. He had a dumb Goldust-like gimmick at first as well, didn't he? And then he turned into the awesome American Nightmare. Well, anyway, Undertaker is one of my all-time favorites. So I will never forget, like I said, I went to WrestleMania 8, and that was in Indianapolis. Undertaker was kind of brand new at that point, and he fought Jake the Snake Roberts. And Jake the Snake was one of my favorite guys ever. His finisher was the DDT. And of course, Paul Bearer was down there with the urn, and Jake the Snake hits the short clothesline, and then he does the DDT to him, and he's like, 1, 2, and I'm going crazy. I'm like, yeah, Jake the Snake's gonna beat the Undertaker, and then he just rises up. Paul Bearer's got that urn, he raises it above his head, and the Undertaker just sits up. Kicked out of the DDT. Are you kidding me? If I remember correctly, I think Jake actually did a few DDTs. And then, unfortunately, he got the tombstone, and it was 1, 2, 3, Undertaker wins. But I was scared to death of Undertaker. I was only a young kid at that time. That was in 1992. So to see this guy that rolled his eyes back in his head with Paul Bearer as his manager, holy smokes, I was petrified. And then he's been in the business since then. So he's like 1,000 years old now, and he's still associated with the WWE, which is awesome. Okay, so all my yapping aside, here's what you can expect. So we get Cody Rhodes for 1,500 V-Bucks, The Undertaker for 1,500. For a back bling, you get the Nightmare Mantle for 300. So that's going to be Cody Rhodes. You get the Urn, which is obviously The Undertaker. Both of those are 300 V-Bucks. For pickaxe, you get the Cody's Cutlass for 800. Undertaker gets the Taker's Shovel. So he had a few buried alive matches, so that makes sense. For emotes, you get the Whoa for 300 and the Earned Respect for 300. And then the wrap is the American Nightmare for 500. So it looks like the Undertaker does not get a wrap. And you can buy everything in that entire bundle for 2,800. So this is going to be amazing. Finally, something I know a lot about is coming to Fortnite. Now, I always joke that we kind of have the Undertaker in the game already. The Deadeye skin, as you can see here, it says Bounty Hunter from Beyond the Grave. And it kind of gives me Undertaker vibes, especially with the hat. It's like an undead version of the Undertaker. And look, he's even doing like the, I don't know, when Paul Bearer used to raise the urn, he used to do that with his hand, like he was drawing power from it. So this skin I always call the Undertaker. But now we're actually having the Deadman in the game. I wonder which outfit they're going to go with. I hope his classic look from the early 90s, but I doubt it, where he had the big old tie and the big hat and the trench coat. We'll see. Well, there you go. This Friday, April 18th, we are getting Cody Rhodes and The Undertaker. And again, I will have the review out tomorrow morning, April 17th. Stay tuned for that. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Like is always appreciated, and don't forget to use my Support-A-Creator Code, which is tabortime.